Welcome to Spotlight.
It's the podcast that lifts the curtain on life here at Wolverhampton Grand Theatre.
I am Tonia.
And I'm Scott.
And today we are joined by musical theatre
and Disney legend.
It's Lea Salonga.
Hello.
Lea. Oh my goodness.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi.
It's so good to have you with us. It really, really is.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. My pleasure to be here.
Oh, and we're so excited to welcome you to Wolverhampton in June with your concert, which is going to celebrate stage, screen, and everything in between. And that's what we're going to try and cram into this episode of the podcast. So
I wish you both the best of luck.
Thank you.
So before we start, Lea, where are you actually at the moment? Where are you? What country?
I'm actually in New York City
Ah.
at the moment, and it's a really pretty day. I can from where I'm sitting, I can see my kitchen, and it's really bright and sunny. The spring is definitely here, and it's quite a nice change from how gray and wet the winter was. So I'm very happy for this change of season.
I'm happy
and it's
for
absolutely gorgeous right now outside.
And it's like that here in Wolverhampton too. So let's hope it's here to stay.
Yes.
And regardless, we've got some.
Well, at least for the next few months.
Yeah. And we've got sunshine in bucket loads on this podcast today. So let's get going. Let's go. Let's start with Miss Saigon, because I guess that's where most people sort of associate the start of your career, and this was a very early part of your career. There's a video that I've seen a few times, and I'm sure it's done the rounds of you in what I imagine was an early audition at a piano with Claude Michel Schönberg singing Sun and Moon. And in that video, I don't know how old you were there, but so young yet so calm and collected, it seems. I don't know if that was the case, you tell me, but that video is just so beautiful. And tell me about that moment and what was going through your head.
If I remember right, I was actually still 17 at that audition. I was not going to turn 18 for a few more months. And I do remember being quite calm and trying not to be too crazy nervous about everything. They said that I was going to start learning some music from the show. And so I really focused on that. And according to Claude Michel and Cameron McIntosh has his own memories of that afternoon. They remember me saying something to the effect of, when it came to learning I'd Give My Life for You, which was one of the songs that I learned that afternoon also. Claude Michel told me, okay, it's time for you to get back to the center and to sing the song. And then I asked him, okay, which version? I said that. And Claude Michel said, what do you mean? There's only one version of the song. I said, well, when you taught it to me, it's like you taught me 5 different ways to do it. So can you tell me which one you'd like?
Wow.
And everybody in the room was just very surprised.
Why?
Cameron was like, you remembered all 5 ways that he taught you. I said, yeah. I just wanted to know which one he wanted. So I think that surprised him. That definitely surprised Cameron and Claude Michel.
Yes.
And the other thing that Claude Michel said, in learning Sun and Moon, it's that I was learning really, really quickly. Almost as if I was going ahead of him. And so he was asking himself, and I think it was heard, it's like, is my music so predictable that this little girl is doing it already before I'm even teaching it to her? I said, well, I mean, there is a pattern and I can see it, so I can just follow it. So learning patterns and seeing them is also really helpful when learning Sondheim. So for anybody who's into musical theater and for anybody who's learning Sondheim, if you are a puzzle geek, Stephen Sondheim was as well, look for the patterns.
Okay.
And once you see it, you can never unsee it.
Wow.
So that's a hint.
That's a beautiful nugget. I'm not practicing. I cannot sing. I wish I could. I wish I could. No, I can't.
And that audition, presumably, was that in Manila? They came.
That was in Manila,
yeah, they came to the Philippines to find you.
Yeah,
And
they
then-
actually scoured. They scoured a lot of places. They first started their search in London, and then they headed to New York, LA, Honolulu, and then Manila. And I think there were some folks who came from other Southeast Asian countries to give their, to give their luck a try.
Yeah.
So I think there were a couple of people who came in from Hong Kong. And then that was that. And they found me and a whole bunch of other people. Then we
should
were
have
brought to
started
London
there.
the following summer. Yeah. And then we started work on the show.
Wow. They should have started there.
Yeah, well, I think they were figuring out that a lot of the people who were auditioning for Miss Saigon had roots in the Philippines. So I think that was a clue. And then the other thing was that Claude Michel, while he was still in Paris, he was seeing a Filipino movie on French TV by a Filipino filmmaker named Lino Broca. And he was seeing that, and there was a scene in the film where there were these men kind of surrounding a fire barrel and they were all singing. And the voices were very Western. I think we owe over 300 years of Spanish colonial rule for that. But yeah, so he heard those voices and he was like, "What is this? We have to go here." So they went to the Philippines, hoping to find people, and they found a lot of people, and that pretty much changed my life. And I think Cameron was going to give up on the show if they weren't able to find anybody. I think by the time they got to Manila, and when they did, then it kind of gave him hope to do it again.
Wow.
Crazy. Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And you say it changed your life, but also it changed a lot of people's lives in terms of representation as well.
Yeah.
It's such a big... Sorry, carry on. You were going to say something.
Yeah, and there was... it's currently in the Philippines now. I think there's an international tour of Miss Saigon, and I've got a few buddies in the show. And there was one young woman who's playing Gigi at the moment, and I saw her Instagram story. I think she highlighted an interview that she had done, and she said something to the effect of, I'm just going to paraphrase, that Miss Saigon kind of gave a lot of young people the permission to dream something different. Yeah, isn't that crazy? It's sort of because of what that original company was able to accomplish and achieve. There were a lot of young people that said, I can absolutely do that. So now the dreams became different. Well, not so much the dreams became different, but you could dream something else other than being a doctor or a lawyer or an entrepreneur or anything else that folks back home sort of encouraged. And now you could add, I want to be in musical theater, I want to be an actor, I want to be able to do this also. So yeah,
100%.
it gave folks back home permission to dream something other than what they knew was possible. So it did a lot.
Amazing, and
a lot of people.
It really did, and just as you were saying that, it was making me think about the importance of representation, and for me, just how much I love theatre, and as soon as you do see yourself on that stage, it changes the game. It really does. You don't have to be a stereotype. You can follow your dreams. I know we're talking about stardom and, the theatre and all the lights, but we can do that. So, that was really, that resonates for me. And I just want to ask, where were you when you found out about the role of when you were given the role of Kim, when you knew that you had got the role of Kim?
I think I was in Manila. Oh, no. Yeah, I was definitely in Manila. Still going about my life as a student at university.
Yeah.
Wasn't really thinking much of anything at that point. And then I was starting to get these telex messages. We had a telex machine.
Telex!
I know, right? We had a telex machine at my house, thanks to my dad. So we were getting messages regarding, that, yes, she definitely is cast, but we don't know what role yet. And then I got a copy of the Daily Mail's Sunday magazine, and then my face was on the cover. And I think that was when it really hit me that this was really happening. I know, it's weird.
Didn't know?
It's weird. It's a weird way to find out that you won a role in a huge West End show.
Hang on, please, rewind and come again. I had to just put in the patwa. What do you mean?
Your face was on the cover of a magazine. You didn't know.
My face was on the cover of a magazine. I didn't know that the magazine was coming out. There were photo sessions after the final callback.
Yeah.
I did not foresee that was going to happen. I wasn't told. It was like, surprise! Your face is on the cover of a magazine.
So how did that make you feel?
I guess I got the job? Question mark in my head. Yeah. So it was pretty amazing.
Wow. And then, of course, you get the role, you go to London, you perform the role in the West End, win the Olivier, and then go to Broadway with the show. Did you ever was win the Tony and all the rest? Was that even in your mind that this could happen? Surely, landing the role in the West End is great enough, and then what followed? Was that?
I was just happy to have a job.
Of course.
And much like I think everybody else in the company, oh, I have a job. This is good. I can pay my rent. I can pay my bills. I can take care of myself and I can take care of my family. And that's pretty much the only thing you're after. And then all the other stuff came after, which was actually really cool. Just getting to come to New York, which is now home for me, and getting the accolades that come with opening a Broadway show and so much attention. There was also a little bit of controversy that was involved with the show. To some degree, there still is.
Yes.
It is what it is. It's fine. It's quite a bit. So I feel really happy and fortunate that it did happen and that it did lead to what is now a really lovely, wonderful career.
Yes.
And I get to go to a lot of different places all over the world to sing.
Well, and we get to be blessed. We get to be blessed by your absolutely stunning, amazing vocals. Like, I cannot wait for you to come to Wolverhampton Grand Theatre. Honestly, it's just going to be a birthday gift. When is Lea coming?
21st of June.
It's 21st of June, exactly. So I cannot wait. This is going to be my personal birthday gift. So I hope you know that.
It's your actual birthday
it's
then.
in July, but this is still my birthday gift. It's still my birthday gift. But talking about this career that it really it was a launch pad for a wonderful career, and just still kind of looking at a little bit about the representation, because for me that is quite important. Les Mis. I don't know why I went Jamaican again. Sorry.
It's all right.
So you played the iconic role.
Eponine.
Yeah. And you were the first, were you not? Philippine.
I think I was the first Asian to get to play that role.
Yeah, and go on.
Yeah, not counting in Japan because, well, everybody over there is going to be Asian. But yeah, the first Asian actor to play it on Broadway for sure. Yeah, that was something.
That was something.
Special. And I was the only Asian in the company. And yeah, the thing is, it came on the heels of Miss Saigon. I left Miss Saigon in March of 1992, and I started playing Eponine in January of 1993. And yeah, it was one of those things where, is this kid going to be able to pull this off? Because for an Asian actor to get to play an Asian role is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And but for this Asian actor to get to play a role that is normally occupied by a Caucasian person, it's going to be like, is this possible? Will she be able to do this? Can she sing it? Will there be a suspension of disbelief? Is it going to get in the way of the storytelling? And the one thing I think that we all discovered, and I think we all discovered this together. I mean, myself, Cameron McIntosh, Richard J. Alexander, who cast me in the show. I think we all discovered that it doesn't affect the storytelling at all.
No.
Because in the show, race is not a storytelling plot point.
Wow.
It's not. Not in Les Mis. It is in a lot of shows, Miss Saigon being one of them.
Yeah.
But in Les Mis, it's more of social class.
Yeah.
It's more about, the downtrodden trying to better their lives. And it's, so as far as getting to play that, I think the thing we all happily discovered and realized is that anybody can play these roles, regardless of their identities, racial identities. If they had the chops, then by all means, they should have the opportunity to get to play.
Yeah. I mean, we look at Les Mis. We look at Les Mis in recent years. Rachel Ann Go and Ava Noblezada playing these roles.
Joanna Ampil got to play both Eponine and Fantine in the West End. Rachel Ann Go got to play Fantine. There's a young woman named Amira currently playing here in the West End. I don't know her last name, and I'm so sorry that I don't. No. But there have been a lot of women of color and gentlemen of color that have come and gone.
Yes.
Norm Lewis getting to play Javert. And when I got to play Fantine on Broadway, he was still playing Javert. And so the two of us, having been Miss Saigon alums from various productions, we looked at each other on my first day of rehearsal with everybody, and I said, never thought that the first time I would work with you, it would be in this show. It was something that I don't think either of us ever expected would happen.
Yeah.
And I think this is what I'm talking. I mean, at the time when you got that role, it was a big deal, and it really did open the. It did something. It shifts the dial, because it gives people this understanding that this can happen, and I actually feel quite. I don't know. Something's happening to me right now, just talking to you and thinking about how all of this has changed so much from when you were cast, that the doors and the gates have been open, but we are still asking those questions. Does race matter? Can we get away with it? But you said it wonderful. If you've got the chops.
If you have the chops, you should have the chance to do the role. But of course, there has to be sensitivity with regards to, there are going to be certain shows where race is going to matter.
Oh, gosh, yes.
And absolutely, those shows need to really be cast correctly.
Yes.
But in a show like Les Mis, where race doesn't matter, then by every, if it doesn't matter, then just let's go have at it. And you pick a really good baritone for this role, you pick a tenor for this role, you pick a soprano for this role, and then it becomes about your vocal type and which role you're right for.
Yes.
But of course, that's not a blank, it doesn't apply to every show. So I think people just need to really be smart about what show that can apply to and what show that won't apply to. It needs some sensitivity, and it needs, intelligence and common sense.
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
And now, of course, let's shift just slightly over to the world of Disney. We have to go there because
Scott
we are
loves Disney.
Disney. Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Yeah.
And I think thrilled to be joined by not one but two Disney princesses on this call here. So the singing voice of Princess Jasmine and Mulan. How did Disney come about for you? When did Disney come about?
Oh, so it's an interesting story. I was still playing Kim in New York, and there was a note left for me on the company call board. There was a note. So I think the doorman said, "Lea, there's a note for you on the board. You might want to check it."
I love these
Okay.
stories.
So I opened the note, and it said, "We have been looking for you." Of course, in my mind, I'm snarky. I'm like, I've been right here for like the last however many months. I have just been right here. 6 times a week, I'm playing Kim in Miss Saigon. So, we've been trying to get in touch with you. Can you please call me? And it came from the casting director of Aladdin, whose name is Albert Tavares. He passed away a few months after casting Aladdin, and I got to meet him. Really, really, really lovely man, and I felt really sad that he had passed away so soon after the movie.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure that he got to see the final film.
Oh gosh.
So I got in touch. I put my agent in touch with everybody, and I went in one morning in, I think, late January, early February of 1992. I went in and I sang for Alan Menken, Tim Rice, I think Chris Montan was there, music people, David Friedman, who was the musical director and conductor, Ron Clements and John Musker, who were the directors. I think they were there. They were pretty quiet, so I'm not sure. But I do remember Alan. I definitely remember Alan, and I definitely remember Tim and David. So I just remember singing. I sang Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid.
Wow.
For them. And then after I was done with the song, Alan then jumped up and went to the piano and called me to come with him to the piano. And then he started again playing Part of Your World, like somewhere towards the end. And then he would start bringing up the keys. So if it's, for example, if Part of Your World was in the key of, say, let's say G for right now, and then he'd move it up to A flat, and then he'd move it up to A, and then move it up to B flat. He just wanted to see how high I could go.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, okay. So it's a little much for a morning, but sure. And I must have been running on adrenaline because everything sounded great, at least in my mind. And then the next thing I knew, I was called in to record the demo of A Whole New World and then recording it for real.
Wow.
It was crazy. And Miss Saigon gave me the night off the night before the recording so that I could be rested and sound
great.
It's like, we want to make sure that you sound great for that recording because Miss Saigon is a big show. And so they were really, the folks at Saigon were really, really great about it. Like, oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. And so, I was able to record for that entire morning and much of the afternoon.
Wow.
And that was that.
And that was not just that, because A Whole New World. I tried.
I heard the effort. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to try better. A Whole New World.
That's lovely, Tonia.
That was lovely,
Was it
actually.
really?
So you might need to rethink your whole I can't sing thing now.
Oh no, please don't make me cry. Do not make me cry on this podcast. But I say that because such an iconic song. So many people have tried to sing it, as you probably already know. So many people have tried, and kind of like really pushed. not so great, and some really great. But how do you feel about it's a whole new world and reflection? I mean, they're just bangers.
When you think of Disney songs, they're up there, aren't they? With all the Disney songs, right? And those two to be your songs. How is that for you?
Yes,
they're not
it's
going
kind of crazy.
These songs.
Yeah, that they are still such beloved songs in the Disney canon of music. There are songs that'll just hit. I mean, when you record, and on the part of the songwriters, when you write the songs, you don't know how people are going to react to them. You hope for the best, certainly. And you can write hundreds and hundreds of songs, but have, say, only one or two of them really resonate with people. And I think Reflection resonates with folks who are still trying to find their way in the world and still trying to figure things out for themselves as younger people and even as older people. When you say the line, "When will my reflection show who I am inside?" It's for anybody who is still searching for those answers, because you don't come into the world knowing everything.
No.
So it's definitely, to use the title of the song, it's definitely a reflection of how people are feeling. And so there are so many folks, and they don't have to be girls, guys too, listening to what she sings and what she's singing about and thinking, oh my gosh, she just basically said what I'm thinking. And so you never know how these things are going to resonate. For example, Elsa's song Let It Go from Frozen, here's somebody with all of these societal pressures and the stress of it. And so for her to sing those words, let it go, and for Idina Menzel's vocal to soar in the way that it did, it does things to people.
It really does.
It does things. And I mean, I've sung it in shows, and it does things to me, certainly, when I sing it.
Yes.
I mean, there is something in that vocal and in that music that just resonate with folks. It's crazy.
And I think yes, the lyrics are strong, like you said, with Reflections and everything else, the lyrics, but it's the way you embody, it's the way you bring that to life. It changes people's worlds, actually. And I don't say that lightly. Yeah.
And of course, hopefully we're going to hear some of this in the concert. We need to bring this round now, I think, to the concert. That we're so excited
the reason
about.
why we're here, and thank you. Thank you so much for doing this podcast.
And opening the concert here in Wolverhampton. Maybe just we can finish by, you've just done the West End doing Sondheim's Old Friends with Bernadette Peters and a whole host of amazing people singing all those Sondheim songs.
And it's coming to Broadway, so I'm really excited about that too.
And you're going to sandwich this concert in between. What can we expect, Lea? Tease us. What are we going to get?
You're going to get a whole lot. You're going to get a lot. Definitely a whole lot of.
I am ready.
There's always going to be Sondheim. Always going to be Sondheim in the show. Just because I really love the music, the lyrics, and what they represent. My kid I have a 17-year-old who loves Sondheim. Sondheim is like the favorite.
Yes.
And the thing about, Sondheim's music is that when you go through a life experience of some kind, there will always be a song that all of a sudden you find you understand more deeply because of what you go through in life. So definitely Sondheim, definitely a lot of Disney.
Yes.
Definitely a lot of musical theater and film stuff. And there will also be some pop things.
Ooh.
So I think it will be a nicely rounded out program for everybody coming. I mean, I love to sing, clearly.
And we love to listen.
Yeah, we love to listen.
Thank you. I think that people will just have a good time.
Oh,
I think so.
I know we have to wrap it up, but honestly, I just don't want to let you go. I cannot let you go. I do not want to let you go. And I feel really blessed that I was given this opportunity to interview you and just to meet you in this way. But we have just started this podcast. And we have done something. What we're trying to do is we're trying to find like a jingle, something that will lift the podcast, right? Listen, it's literally a challenge. It's nothing crazy. But how about you help us just off the top of your head right now with okay. I love the fact that you're just like, your eyes are going and you're like, what is she talking about? Yeah, but you're feeling it. And the only thing that we ask is that you use the words spotlight, podcast,
and Wolverhampton
Grand Theatre. That literally, that's
oh my
God. Any tune, anything, and it can be Disney inspired, it could be not, we don't mind, any kind of flex, and then we're going to try and learn that quickly. We're just going to do that with you, so we'll let you have a little, literally it can be anything. We've had some real funny ones.
We have.
Oh, I want to hear those.
Yeah, you will. So, Spotlight podcast,
Wolverhampton Grand Theatre. Lea Salonga, go.
Whenever you're ready.
God, let me think. Oh Lord, this is on the spot.
It is on the spot, but you don't have to do it. But if you want to.
I know. I'm trying to think.
Good. But not to, just whatever comes. However it comes.
You see, this is the Spotlight podcast at Wolverhampton Grand Theatre.
Oh my goodness! This is the. Let's go again.
I don't even remember what I sang. This is the Spotlight podcast at Wolverhampton Grand Theatre.
That is really good. Yeah. The Wolverhampton bit I'm struggling with slightly, but I'm not. But I'm going to do the first bit. I'm going to do the first bit.
Go on then.
This is the Spotlight. Okay. Thank you, Lea. Thank you. This is the Spotlight podcast
at Wolverhampton Grand Theatre.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Lea, thank you so much.
Honestly, I just feel like a star. I feel like I feel like I could sing.
Broadway next time.
Broadway! Have me! Will you have me? I could say I've been trained by the best. Yeah. Don't copy that on my CV. Who trained you? On the spot. This is the Spotlight podcast
at Wolverhampton Grand
Theatre. Yes, I love it. Oh. Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome. Thanks for having me.
There's just a big squeezy hug coming from us to you through the lens. Sorry, I don't know why am I saying it twice?
Through the camera, across the pond.
Thank you so much. I am pausing a lot. I'm menopausing every minute. But, so I just say random words. I sound random words.
But we're so excited, aren't we? We are. You can tell.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to going over there. It'll be a good time.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Lea. We can't wait to see you soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Lea. It's been a pleasure to speak to you. We're so excited to see you in June when you come here and open your concert. And we're hoping that everybody in Wolverhampton is going to come and join us.
You have to come. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Sorry, I did speak over you.
And we're going to see you in the next one.
Bye.